Hello, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Uh we are continuing on our AI project, or specifically a little demo app for a talk that we're going to do. And I thought about it last night, and I sent off a sort of like a blurb that was generic enough that it could handle any three of these projects and apps. But I think the To Do app is the best one to do because it has the least number of requirements, and it's going to have the highest chance of like actually getting us like all of the stuff that we want in there. So that's what I'm going to do. Now everything else that we like, the other two projects kind of rely upon the technology that we create in the To Do app. So perhaps we could work on them in a future project, using this as sort of like a building blocks for like, everything else. Uh, I'm thinking a CLI app. I think that'll be fine. We may or may not use Anathema. There might be some cool visualizations that we can do where we can see all of the QA and other parts and like what they're actually saying displayed out. So we have like, the main display and then everything else. But I can also throw those into log files too. So like there's plenty of different directions that we can go for this. And I'm not 100% convinced that we need to build Anathema into it right away. Okay, so let us pull up the plan again, or like how this works. So basically, it's gonna start with me saying, like I want to do something. Like I've completed blah, show me this, whatever. And it's me doing conversational chatting as the interface. So not really a UI. Um, is there like a name for a AII, artificial intelligent interface? LMI? I don't know. Maybe there needs to be new design terms for this. Okay, so if we begin by I request something, and then we start sending this along to our To Do app, and then it starts doing something, and we get this all back, and fun times happen. And I'm thinking that I want to build this out as probably a series of applications, like maybe a workspace with different crates that we create, and then though we could have like a main container, like a main controller crate. But that way, if we want to, we can have like a UI layer elsewhere. Because I think that's how Togglebit wrote Anathema to work with. We've certainly played around with that too. So I don't know. Getting started on this one is gonna be interesting because I haven't really done any like AI type apps before. So like, where do I start? Do I start with the AI part? Do I start with the UI part? Traditionally, in a traditional one, I would usually start with the AI and then sort of build up the back end. The front end. Front end, FE. I would start with the front end, and then as necessary, add in the back end database and everything else that's supporting it. Maybe that's what we deal with. Oh, but you know what? The problem with using Anathema is we don't yet have a good. Well, let me check to see if they have like an input. Because if they have an input container or element or whatever you want to call it, That would be really helpful. But it doesn't look like he has it yet. Okay. Yeah, so input into Anathema is it's kind of rough. There's there's some there's some things that need to be put into the library that's going to make it a lot easier to deal with. It is technically possible right now. We kind of did one, but it's not great, and it looks like it's prone to breaking pretty easily. And I don't want to worry about like doing all that extra work if I don't have to. So I think no anathema. We'll just keep this as a pure CLI application. So because we're going to use a database, I don't actually have to have the app running the entire time, do I? So I could do something like AI to do would be like the name of our project, let's say, and then I say like list tasks. Like I could just tell it what to do like this. Okay. Now we do need a database. We do need things like that. I wonder if we should create create a schema. I'm thinking about using SQL X for this. We can create some migrations, and then those end up being part of what the AI can work with, as opposed to just like everything created by the AI. The AI is essentially dynamically creating stuff for us. Okay. I I I kind of like that. And then what else? What else would we care about? We maybe we should just create some stories. All right. So um the user so as a user I should be able to what is this? As a doer, I want to okay, so as a doer I want to create create a task, right? I want to uh list like view all tasks. So I want to view all the tasks, and these essentially become our tests that we're working on. I'm not exactly sure how, like, if we can even do automated tests with AI type stuff because the output that it's going to give might be subtly different. Okay, so as a doer, I want to create a task. I want to just view all of the tasks. Um, I want to maybe like view the next task. I want to complete a task. Uh, let's say uncomplete a task. And let's just also like delete a task. And we can do hard deletes here. Those are that it's going to be much more fun if we do hard deletes with the AI because the AI can make decisions to just do whatever it wants at that time. Okay, so this doesn't seem all that much. Okay. Now where am I? So I'm in a directory that I'm calling Meetup Talk. I haven't pushed this up yet. So let's go ahead and maybe change the name of this. So AI Meetup Talk, this is going to be maybe like a to-do. Let's do like a prepend for name. So Meetup Talk AI to do like demo. Or I'll just call it AI to do because like the entire talk should be in here as well. No slash. What am I doing there? Okay. Oh, it's not even a get repo yet. So perfect. So let's go. Let's get init you. We now have our plan. So all right. So creating a new task. Well, we want some kind of CLI type thing. So we want to write in I guess tests for this would be create a, or I want to create the talk for the AI meetup. Create the slides. Okay, so that would be an example, sort of like the first thing that we want to do. So, given this, let's get rid of view. Okay, so meetup talk AI to do. Let's create our binary here. Let's also update Rust. Is there a new version of Rust since I last did this? Or do I have nightly installed? I always regret downloading nightly because then every single time I do a rest up update, there's something to update. And then it just takes time. And I'm like, is this something for me? Or is this something I only use very rarely? And then I forget to remove nightly. Let's see. Oh, stable was updated. Okay, so we're at 1.82 now. So yeah, there was an rest update. Okay, so let's do a cargo init to initialize here. And that gives us a binary project. And in my cargo.toml, we're going to have a workspace. Okay, so I think we have to do something like members equals, and we have to figure out like what are our members? What are we going to put in here? What am I thinking of first? I guess the first thing is I want to take in and grab the input, right? So that's probably here. So we don't have any members yet. So let me just leave you like that. Are you going to be okay with an empty members? Let's make sure that we get hello world working. Okay, excellent. Okay, so I want to grab the entirety of the arguments to this command. Because I just want arguments and I don't have any options for this, I don't really feel the need to grab in any of the CLI, what is it called? The CLI crates. I don't necessarily think that they're gonna help with this. What is this? This is like the arguments. Certain environment args. Returns the arguments that this program was started with. The first element is traditionally the path of the executable, but it can be set to arbitrary text and might not even exist. This means the property. Okay, so it's always the one after that. So what does this give me? So it gives me arguments like that. Oh, okay. So what if I make it so that when I call it with a string? So I just want the first argument, and that's all I really count. Oh, or I could just pull this all in. But okay, so I don't want the first one. I just want, sorry, I don't want the first one. I want the second one. And this is a, so if args is a iterator, then we can just next that. And then I just want access to the thing, right? Can I just take it? Takes the value out of the option, leaving a none in its place. Do I care about that? I could, okay, so let's say I unwrap you. I'm just curious about this. Okay, so if I cargo run and we say create a new task to drink water. Arguments are target debug, meetup talk to do AI. Okay, so, well, that's not what I want. So another next. No method found who? Wait a second. I thought you were an iterator. I guess what if I get the last one? So last on unwrap. There. Okay. That works well enough. Okay, so create a new task to drink water. It's a demo. We don't really care about this. All right, so we get the sort of like the user input. I could also do this dynamically where I run the thing and then I can just ask it what to do, and we have like a very simple infinite loop to do all the stuff. Because that's something we can do too. And maybe that might be a good idea. Let me add error. And then we can do this in the main library. Okay, so what if we just have like a run? So pub function run. This will end up being an infinite loop. So we'll have just sort of like a loop like this. And then inside the loop, the first thing that we'll do is we'll get the input, right? So function get user input. This will be a string. And what was it? This is standard. We just did this the other day. Is it standard IO? It's like read. Oh yeah, it's standard in. Wasn't there like a read line? Read line to the buffer. Okay, so read line. That's not right. That's a method. I can't do like dot on that. Isn't there a? Let's see. There's. Hold on. Let me try this again. Read to string. That's not what I want. So standard. Oh, is this standard in where it constructs a new handle? Okay, this is what I probably want. So let mute standard in equals that. Standard in read line. Then we get our user input. We have our context. So you're actually a result. Okay, so we get this, and then we're going to return okay user input. Okay, so the first thing that we do in here is that we let user input equals get user input. Do your result, and we're not returning anything from there. Okay, so then you're fine, and let's just go ahead and print line. You said user input like that. Okay. We don't need you. Don't need you. Don't need you. Okay. And I guess this could just be standard in like that. That's fine. We're gonna head back to main and we just call this. So we call, let's just match on run. Okay. I guess we could just do a print line ending thanks ending or something like that. So thanks for using AI to do. Please come again. Now you, however, there was an error using AI to do. And then we can print the error. Okay, so I think that looks good, which means that I should now be able to run this. So cargo run. Some actual like maybe something to display would be nice here. So we can do like a print line. What would you? Let's do this up here. So we can have like a print line here, and we'll say, "Welcome to AI to do." What is your command? Okay, so we do what is your command. So let's cargo watch this. So cargo watch. Oh, what's the command again? It's -s. No, that's shell. X -x. Cargo watch -x run. Okay, so welcome to AI to do. What is your command? Okay, so our first command would be something like show me my to-do list. You said show me my to-do list. I do have a new line in here, so I should handle that and trim it. So we trim you, which makes that a stir. So then let's to owned you. Okay. So good enough. Okay, one function down. We have get user input. Okay, excellent. So now that we have our user input, I want to create something. I want to create a I want to create something in the database, which is going to be a simple like insert essentially. And I'm guessing that we have the tools that are going to be available to our AI like in this main command here, I think. I mean, that would make the most sense here. So what if I created a tools directory? Do I need it to be a tools directory? I don't actually know. Maybe all of these will just be just like a file of all the tools. So let's just touch tools.rs, and then we'll go from there. So tools, let's mod you. I don't know if that actually needs to be pub mod or not. And now we can write our first tool. So pub function, and this is going to be create to do, create task. There's probably like an, let's just be like really, really specific, because I think the AIs pay attention to this. Actually, you know what? It's only the words that pay attention to this. So it's not nearly as interesting. So this is going to be insert. We'll create task. We will take in the task, which can be a stir. Return a result. And do you care about... I don't know if we care about this at all. So I'm not going to return anything at all. We're just going to say it goes in there, and then we'll play around with this. Okay, so for right now, let's just print line. And we're going to print line creating task. And there's really going to be like inserting tab. Oh, this is going to be like just running tool, right? So we should do running tool create task with task task. Okay. And then we just return okay. So that's great. Now I need to ask the AI to do stuff. Chris, hello. How are you doing today? We need to ask our AI I want to create a task, and we have to tell it that this task exists as a potential tool, and then it's going to do the thing, right? And thinking about like workspace type stuff again, I don't actually know if I need to do that. Like I might just throw in you might have like another just file for AI type stuff. So if I touch like AI.rs, yeah, because you know what? This is where things get like weird compared to normal applications that we build, because normally I would have lots of different API calls, one for each type of thing that we're doing, right? It's like, hey, we're doing an API call to like insert into the database. But really I have a function that does that, and it's just one AI call, but it tells me what I want to do in return. So maybe we just have AI.rs. Maybe that's gonna be fine. And we want to ask the AI. So ask AI. I like want to pass. Okay, so we're going to pass the command to the AI, and the AI is going to respond with what tool to call. I run the tool. So let's actually, hold on. So we get user input. Mr. Halsey, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? Are you still working on the SQLX thing in Rust? It has been a long time, yes. How are you doing? Doing yes? Okay, you're doing DB replication for SQLX. Nice. Yeah, we've done some SQLX stuff here. It's I like SQLX a lot. It's a really fun tool to use for database, just usage or SQL based usage. Okay. So you're doing database replication for SQLite. Okay, so not SQLX, SQLite. I thought, are you using SQLX for that? Well, that does sound pretty nice. Anyways, we are working. Well, so I have a talk coming up next month for an AI meetup here in Denver, and I'm going to be talking about. Well, what I've signed up to talk about is AI agents. I've never built anything with AI agents, but I do enjoy sort of like signing up for talks that then force me to learn the thing to then go talk about it. So that's what we're doing. We're going to create an AI agent to do application because, I got to run, Mr. Halsey. Well, thank you again for the raid and have a great rest of your day. So the tagline for this talk is learn AI by creating solutions to problems that have already been solved. That's like the working title. I want to come up with I don't know if it's like I can come up with something a little bit nicer, a little bit easier on the tongue. But the idea here is that we're going to create an AI to do application. It's going to use an actual SQL database, and the AI is going to be basically taking in commands from me. So if I say like, hey, I want to create this to-do app, it has to figure out what that to-do app is. It has to like run the tool, like choose which tool to run. It has to do all that kind of stuff and then come back to me. And so it's going to be a I don't know if it would technically be a multi-model agent system because we are just using one model for this, but I am calling it multiple times per each thing. So we are learning this together, and I'm using other talks that I've been to for how agents work to get this done. So it's fun. It's one of those like, let's learn together and it'll be great. So this all being said, we currently have getting the user input, and we're just starting with the AI integration type stuff right now. So after we get the user input, we want to ask the AI what tool to run, right? So we need to like reformat the AI into like what this is going to be. So like what exactly is this? Is this a create thing? Is this a get task? Is this a complete task? Like what exactly are we doing here? And I'm thinking about doing this or like the mental model for this is a factory, like a physical factory line, where we have stations where each thing gets like done. So like we stamp something, or we do something, where we add something, or we tweak it, or whatever, and then that's what the AI is doing. And then we should have a QA that sort of like double checks what it's doing at each line of the step, at each step 2, to make sure that like, hey, should you retry that? Go again, try it again. So let's see, user input. So do I want it to ask what tool to run, or do I want to ask the AI to reform the request into like a JSON object or something like that? But it's really for itself, right? So JSON is for programs that we make. I don't actually know that AI is better with JSON. Tools. So the tools that we're going to have, things like insert into the database, get from the database, or run SQL. Probably something like run SQL. We have like run SQL. I mean, that might be what it is. I'm thinking that it becomes a split path. So let's create a flowchart here. So it's going to be something like this, but let's create a brand new flowchart. We'll just do this with text. So we'll say user input. You start off here with that, right? And then after user input, the AI needs to, we have like some split, right? Because we can write a SQL, so we can ask a, so write SQL is maybe like the most likely one to do. Because if I say like, I want to do this thing, it's gonna write SQL. So I want to create this new thing. So write SQL to create it, but also maybe like for a create. So if it's a create task, the create task tool has to also beforehand write like the task. Like it has to write the task out. Once it's written the task out and it's happy with that, then we write the SQL like this. So in maybe get all tasks, we don't have to write the task, that just goes straight to SQL. If we get one task, that also goes straight to SQL. If we update task, that probably update task means that it has to also get task. Ooh, get task, write the SQL. Ooh, so this one's gonna be different. Like this one's gonna be interesting. I don't know why I copied that. Write the task, write the SQL again. And then respond. So write response to user. And then that becomes output. And then finally we have delete task. And delete task goes straight to write SQL here. So I think this is the idea. So spread these out. Okay, so I have to use you. No, that's the wrong one. I want you like that. Okay, so User input. You go to create task. Create task then has to write this task. After writing the task, it has to write the SQL. After writing the SQL, it writes the response to the user. And then that becomes the output. Okay, great. For get all tasks, it doesn't write all the tasks, but it is going to do this. So it now writes the SQL, which then writes the response to the user and writes the output. Get one task is probably going to be the same thing. So because this is exactly the same thing, we can remove you. Because it's going to write the SQL and then go off that. Okay, that's great. Update task is actually part of this write task, but the only difference is it has to get the task first. So really, if we think about this, we ask, the flow is we send a command to the AI. The AI chooses a tool to run. The tool being, I want to create a task. Yeah, the tool being, I want to maybe like rewrite the task, do all that stuff. Okay, so I need to make sure I'm not like over controlling the AI, because the entire point of this is that the AI sort of does most of the legwork for me, for better or for worse, and most likely for worse in this case. But that's going to be the funny part, right? Like when the AI writes a SQL query to delete all the tasks in the database, just because it goes rogue. That's going to be fun. The entire point of doing AI, right, is to have it just go crazy on you and not do things correctly. Okay, so if I get user input, we want to immediately pass this in and send it to the AI. So what tool to use? And I'm guessing it's going to be a response of some kind, but I'm not sure what that looks like yet. I'm probably going to create a struct for like an AI response. And maybe like we'll have a list of the AI, we have to have like a list of the tools that we can use too. Because if we look at insomnia, that is how this works. We basically say, we use this URL as long as I have Ollama running, which I do right now. I say which model to use. I hand it, and then the message is going to be, okay, this will be the command that I do. Okay, so I need a history of commands. So I need a history of messages. With the role and everything else. Okay, so, and then tool, oh wait, this is their role. Tool calls, role tool. Nope, that was still messages. Option. And then here, we can hand in, here's the tools that you can use. It's like here, yeah, okay. So I could completely model this in Rust and then we send it. If I want to send this first message, like the very first thing, so messages, we don't have the assistant part in here yet. I don't have the tool. We just say, yeah, and it's going to respond without any content saying, I want to run the get weather function from Denver, Colorado. So let's say I update you to content of, I want to create a, I want to, what's like something generic that I can pass it? So I want to create, oh, okay. I want to create slides for to do my AI powered to do app later. Sure, I can leave get weather in here. That doesn't matter because it should be intelligent enough to know not to do that, but I should duplicate this function here. We'll see that above the none one. So we'll do type is a function. I wonder what the other types are. Function name is so I wonder if I first would want it to, I wonder if like it would choose what to do. So like if I hand it to be the runner and it chooses like, okay, the first thing is create task like title, create task name, description, given a rough, given a command, have another AI LM reword the like summarize. So summarize and restate the input as a nicely formed task name. So if I just do that, and we send you what What do you want? Okay, so it wants to it wants to run create task name command create slides for AI powered to do app. Okay, so I want to create pass in as much context as possible so that the AI has the best chance to create a good name. And then let's do another one that we're gonna so type function so then the next one, instead of create task name, this is gonna be create SQL. Description, and this is gonna be craft a SQL statement. So craft a SQL statement for a Postgres database that will I mean, what if I don't know if I should just do that? I almost did command control colon W. That I keep on wanting to do that every time I say it. Okay, so create task name. So it wants to create task name, create slides for an AI powered to do app. Okay, so let's imagine that it came back with this. And so I say, okay, messages, you successfully did that. You did create task name. Now what? Now nothing. So I feel like I would want to then throw in here role. There's assistant, there's user, and there's tool, and then there's something else too, right? Oh, and did I put system in here? I did. Okay, so we're going to probably have to play with system as well. Role. What are my possible roles? And where did we find that before? There was something. Was it just down here? For tool usage, I want to say, yeah, it was like near the bottom. Oh no, I think there's some documentation in here somewhere. Okay, the role of the message, either system, user, assistant, or tool. So this could be the user again, but I kind of wonder if I put in system and system and then content. And this is going to be basically, okay, you created the slides, or like, choose the next tool to run, or none if you are finished, or if you are finished. So given that, assistant does nothing. Okay, so what if I make you tool? Or sorry, user. Create task name. Okay, so that doesn't work. You're an AI to do, okay, so you're an AI to do application. You have access to tools that you can use to change. You have access to tools that you can use for the entire task creation, reading, updating, and deleting process. Continue calling tools until you are ready to respond to the user. What if I do that? It did the function none. Okay, so that's not helpful. If you, let's see, you have access to a SQL database and can write SQL if you can write SQL. How about I just add that? Subioti, hello. How are you doing today? It just wants to create the task name again. So we did user, I want to create this. Assistant, you want to do that. Okay, so I think trying to have one do this is a little bit too much. So I think the original idea of I ask an AI what should be the next step. So we get the user input and then ask AI what to do. So ask the AI which path to take. So sort of like this thing, like because getting updating task needs to write SQL and then get that back. So if I make all of these specific little models that are potentially running, so these would be stations, right? I should probably let's do this again in a slightly different way. So if I do like user input, so left to right this time, user input, and this is going to be, so choose what to do. And then the options here are, I mean, it's so like it could run SQL. And it can return that SQL. I mean, that's pretty much what this is, right? Like it just is going to be, it writes the SQL for us, right? So Do I need it to choose what to do? And do I have a controller? Do I want something like a little bit over here where it's constantly asking, okay, what's the next step? Like I have done this so far. So we've got the user input. What's the next step to do? Okay, so what if I come back to this and we say you are an AI to do manager. So you're an AI to do application manager. It is your job to determine what the next step in the to do app process is. For example, you might choose. Okay, so for example, you the task from user input may need to be rewritten, or SQL may need to be generated to manipulate the database. Okay, so what if I do that, and then we just say I want to create slides for my AI powered to do app, and I delete these commands that we've done. We have our tools there. And so, okay, you want to create the task name. So if I were to create the task name from this, and so we can say, nope, that's wrong. Hold on. I wanted the entire message. Because I'm thinking we're going to have to keep this as context for everything so it knows what's happened so far. Okay, so we have a role tool. And it's going to have content, something like create slides for upcoming meetup talking about AI powered applications. Okay, so change it around a little bit. So if I do that, what is it going to say next? Unexpected end of file. That's a me problem, isn't it? Oh yeah, that's definitely a me problem. I've malformed the JSON. So here's my tool list. This is all indented weird, isn't it? Isn't it? I'm guessing I didn't copy theirs in correctly. So here's our messages. So I want this. Oh yeah, I didn't go all the way down to here. That's what I need to do. So you, like that, and then another one. So we have role, tool, content, is going to be really make a really awesome demo and slides for your AI meetup. Okay, so then what next? Looks like I was able to extract the command from my previous response to create a high quality presentation with engaging slides for your AI powered to do app. Here's a suggested outline. Okay, so it actually just went into trying to build the thing now. Does it I wonder if it feels like after a tool runs, it feels it has to respond to the user instead of calling another tool. Because that might just be how a llama is written. Okay, I think that might be how a llama is written. So what I could do is pretend to be the assistant, because I can just like make up context, right? So I can just say role is assistant, and I could say content is great. Now I have now I have the name for the to do. I need to choose what next to do. Okay. Do I need a user also? Tool calls. Choose slide template. That's not a tool. Oh, this is the 3B. We got way better everything out of, let's see, 3.1 8B. Or I can use just the 3.2 vision. Okay, so let's use 3.1 8B. This was getting way better output from the AI. Create to-do list. Okay. It's consistently calling, it's attempting to call functions that don't exist. Oh, create another task name. Okay, so it wanted to create another task, that's fine. At least that is a real function that it can call. Okay, so maybe the AI runner isn't the best idea because it seemed that hallucinations are bad. These hallucinations aren't going to be great. So perhaps a better thing to do would be we handle this stuff, right? So let's just say what let's add another tool into here. So this could just be like create task. And our description is going to be insert a new task into the database. So essentially, no, we're not in Vim. Essentially, we're kind of using the AI as a router, which is like obviously terrible, but hey, it's going to be funny, right? And then let's remove our history again. So messages, you finished to here. And then there. Okay. So you would create task name, but if I remove create task name, so you're an AI application, it's your job to determine what the next step is in the app process. For example, the task from user input may need to be okay. For example, creating a new task, deleting a task, etc. How about that? It wants to just create the task name. So I think I have to be very careful about which tools I tell it has access to. So for example, I don't think that I should just give it access to every tool. I think I should give it access to tools that like make sense in the context of where it's at. So like I don't think it should have access to create task name because we're not in sort of like create task mode. Don't think we should have this zippy create task. Then we shouldn't have the none one. So if I copy you, this would be get all tasks or get tasks, I guess. So retrieve tasks from the database. What? Apparently there's faker in Insomnia. Okay, so get tasks, update task. So update task in the database. And then finally we'll do delete task. So delete task in the database. So if I do that, okay, so you want to create a task, and then that would probably be the end of this history with this app, and then I would do something else. So then what if I then want to say, show me what to do next. Okay, get tasks. I'm finished writing the slides for the AI meetup talk. Update task. Okay. It just made up a task ID for this. That's great. Wonderful. Um, okay, but at least this is a lot better. So I think a lot more calls to an AI is a lot better of an idea. So we say we have to figure out like what are the commands that we want to do. And so if we head back to AI, what if we just have a pub enum? Would it be commands or would it be like paths? Because I probably want like a state. Let's do commands just to have a name, and then we'll probably have to rename this later. So we'll have create for a task. We'll have update. We'll have get and delete. Okay, so if we start with just those, I want to start with AI. We need to figure out if we're going like what thing that we're doing. This like command go around. So when we ask AI tool what to do, we pass in user input. That becomes a stir. And we're going to return a command. This should be command. Okay, we're going to have a lot of print lines, and then maybe eventually I'll throw this into a feature flag or something to make it not show up anymore. But for right now, it's going to be fine. So asking AI what to do. I want to now send this, so I need we need to use request. Is there a request sync, or do I have to start doing everything with async await? 27 deactivated features. That's not helpful. Okay, so not to here. Let's look at you. Okay, so we need our command slash information for. Okay, so model. We can probably have a config that we start building up. So pub struct. Let's just name this config. We'll have a pub. So model. That can be a string. Okay, so our model name is going to be this for right now. I'm hard coding this in right now, and we can update that later if we need to. Okay, so I have access to my config. We can go into our library. Actually, this is probably best to do this up here. So and then I want to pass this in to you. Giving ownership is okay. Okay, so now that we have that, we have our, that gives us our model. I want to ask the AI what to do. I wonder if I want to have another module for sending the actual chat command out, or if I just want to do that here. Because I could just have this be private of like send to AI. Result. We'll figure out what you're going to be. We'll probably need Serde because we're going to get JSON back, but we need to turn it. We need to like turn it into a struct that we care about. So given that, might be a good idea. I don't know. Sort of figuring it out. This is very sort of chaos, sort of figuring things out as we go along, and just might as well go into it as, you know, the more we do it, the more we learn how we really want to do it for reals. Okay, so we want to do some kind of request, and so the next one would be the URL. So that's probably another config. This is gonna be pub Olama URL. That can be another string. Okay. So send to AI. So we know that we're going to need the config, but this can be a reference to config, which means you're going to need the config too. Let response equals, okay, so if we do, I think I need to create a request first. I'm not sure. Can I do a request? I can't do a request post. Okay, so I need request equals request new, 2 arguments. Method and URL. Okay. So this would be method post. URL would be config.olama URL. Okay. You're upset because it expected a URL found string. Okay, so you need to actually be a real URL. You need to be the URL type. There is a URL struct, and I wonder if it's that or if they have their own URL type. So if I go back to config, if we say that you were, oh yeah, okay, so you could be that type of URL. Now, could I do something like into? Will you figure that out? There is no that. Okay. But I wonder if there's like a URL from. Ooh, there's a parse. Parse an absolute URL from a string. Okay, so that's probably what I want. Ooh, and that gives me a result. Okay, so now we have result with self inside. We are creating a llama URL. Then you need to be question marked. Okay, so we're good to go there. Okay, so now cannot move out of it because URL doesn't. Do you need to take access of URL, like ownership of URL? You do. So I need to clone you. Well, that's too bad. Okay, so now we have our request. Let's get the body. There's like no new. I want to set the body. Okay, so like let's get the method, get the URL, get the body. Do you have like a set? Oh, you don't even have a send. Am I using? I feel like I'm using request wrong here. Or I shouldn't be doing request new like that. Oh, you're gonna have like features JSON. Oh, fine. And then we'll just use Tokyo. So we'll grab in Tokyo and do some async shenanigans. That'll be fine too. I wonder if that's gonna work with my loop. It should be fine. Cargo add. So Tokyo. Do I need? I know I at least need the macros. I'm not sure what the next I need from Tokyo is. So a request provides a sync API? Ooh, okay. I guess they just don't put that here. Because if I don't need the sync API, then I can just do cargo and also hello Skinnis. How are you doing today? Cargo, is it remove or delete Tokyo? Yeah, okay. Removing Tokyo from dependencies. Let's do that. Oh, it's creating a new client. That's what it is. Okay, so it's not new client. It's not new. I do something like let client equals request client new. And then we can do client. Okay, client post. This can be config.alama URL, which, can I make this relative? Okay, so now we're in the request builder phase. I cannot do that, so I think I have to clone you. Okay, there we go. So now we can set headers and we can set the body. Okay. I don't think we need to set any headers, right? Like we're just doing the normal header. Okay, so we are using JSON. Do I have access to JSON here? I think I need to add in the feature for this. Yeah. Okay, so now I can do JSON, send a JSON body. JSON's going to be, oh, so then now I need cert, eh? With the derives, and this should be fine. Takatao, hello. How are you doing today? The red text is hard to see. The red text, I guess like that, where their area is going to be, and then also where the area is here. I can see that. Sorry about that. Luckily, I don't think I have much with red text here. But if there's another theme that you'd like me to try, we'll see if we have it installed, and I'll give it a shot. Okay, so I need an actual request to send. So this is going to be like a struct. Like a request JSON. Debug and serialize. Can't I serialize it like this? Do I need to restart the LSP again? Yes, I do. Okay, so there go that. We're gonna have a pub. All right, so what is this? Oh, you don't know what IDE I'm using? I'm using Helix. It's CLI IDE. So yeah, this red is just like syntax errors. So it's not really all that interesting, especially since we know what it is. Okay, so we start with the model. So model, and that's going to be a string. We have messages. That's going to be a vector of message. Okay. I'm starting to think that I'm going to want its own file for this. Because like now I need can be like Olama message. You're going to have a role. So pub role string. Now that you feel a little bit comfortable with Rust, you can tell that your code is 100% right without running it once. I ran your web server after an hour while Rust stopped complaining. Oh, nice. That always feels nice whenever we get to that point with a language. That's great. Okay, so you're going to be a vec of Olama message. And stream false. So we have stream the boolean raw raw boolean, and then tools. So this is going to be struct tool. So pub tools is a vec of tool. And so a tool is type and type and function. There's so much to go in here. Okay, so we have pub type. Oh no. Okay, so type, it's gonna be tool type. So I have to change the deserialize to change this into something else. That's gonna be a string, which all of these could probably be enums too. So this is gonna be a fun thing. Oh no, what happened? Did something happen on YouTube chat? Also, so everybody on Twitch can see that. Let me throw this in. Tool type, and then we have pub function, and unfortunately this is going to be a function. Then you're going to be name and description. Oh, so much. Okay, so tool type, and then there's a way that I can now tell Serde like what the name is. I think it's like Serde. Like rename to or something like that. Rust made your small code bulletproof because it forced you to handle error for everything. Yes, that is one thing that's really nice. Although you can still just unwrap everything and then it's no longer bulletproof. But if you don't unwrap everything, yes, you're going to handle every possible thing that's going to come along except logic errors. What do I want to look at? I want to look at Serde. Okay, we want the Serde rename field. Okay, Serde rename equals name. So Serde rename equals tool. No, type. Okay. So that's fun. Yeah, you don't think the autocomplete works that well at the Rive attributes? It wasn't working that well. I was hoping that it was fine, but when I did the R, it's like there's nothing named R. Come on. I was like, okay, well, I must have it wrong. But nope, we had it right. Okay, so we had function. So that's tools. And then we have optional options, but we don't have to do options for system prompt, but that might be nice to do later for different models. Okay, so if I do that, we create our AI, we create our client. So let's create that for like the body that we're gonna send. And this is gonna have to be a new request JSON. So, whoa, don't go up there. So request JSON. Okay, the model is gonna be config dot model clone you. Messages, which is going to be a vec. So a vec. And then the first message, so this is going to be, was it like Olama message? Yeah, Olama message. We have role. And right now, we'll just do user to owned. So yeah, we're going to have to figure out a good way of like keeping track of the messages too. Probably some kind of in-memory vector or something that we're doing. So content. All right, so we need the user input is like that. And then content is going to be our user input to owned. Stream is false. Raw is false. Probably a builder for a request is going to be good too. Tools. Okay, so tools. We would need a vector of tool. Now maybe like the tools module that we can have can like give us the tools that we potentially have access to. But right now, if I like, let's say I just have this be an empty vector. So you don't have any tools. And then we say you are the body. You're supposed to be a reference to the body. Okay. And then I want to send you. Okay, so how do I do sync? Is there like a client sync? Sorry, that client is fine. Oh, that's an asynchronous client. Okay. We need to go find how to do sync. Is that blocking? So sync's not it. Okay. So async and blocking clients. Is this a feature? The blocking client will block the current thread to execute instead of returning features that need to be executed on a runtime. Conversely, the functionality and request blocking must not be executed within an async runtime. Okay, makes sense. This requires the optional blocking feature to be enabled. Okay, so we need cargo add request JSON F blocking. Failed to select a version for the requirement futures IO. Hold on, let's remove. Cargo, what is it? Remove request. So cargo add JSON and blocking. Okay, it's much happier there. So I had something else. All right, so now let's get rid of this request here and we'll start over again. Okay. So I want a client. There you go. Request blocking client new. Okay, so we do that. And now you should be happy. Still not doing that, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm asking which of these commands to do. So that's probably a tool in here. So let's do tool tool type function to owned function, and that's a function which has a name, and so this is going to be maybe like create task to owned. Yeah, having this in the tools is probably for the best. So we're gonna have to do like a big refactor / rewrite of this already. I can imagine, but that's fine. That's what all this stuff is for. So this will be create and insert a task. Okay, so the user wants to create a new task and insert it into the database. Okay, so now if I take you, the next is update or get tasks. User wants to retrieve one or more tasks from the database. Update task. User wants to update a task in the database. Delete task. User wants to, this is just that. Delete a task in the database. All right. Hopefully, because it's the description's not like almost exactly the same, that hopefully that's not going to cause that much problem. Okay, so we do that. Okay, so we're going to get our response. Then we send. We have our context. This is sending request to. Okay, so sending request to find what the AI wants to do. Okay, we've got that. Brandon, hello. How are you doing today? Yes, this is Rust. Okay, so now that gives us, okay, so we get a response back. Now, if I now want to convert this into the appropriate thing, I think I do JSON, and it attempts to deserialize this into the appropriate thing. So I need to give it the type that this deserializes into. So this is going to be a pub struct Olama response. Ooh, did I do deserialize for the other one? I wanted that to be serialized. Oh no, those are all serialized. Okay, so this is deserialize. All right, so what do we get back? And I believe I don't need to serialize everything, just the things I care about. So I don't care about the model, like getting the model. I probably don't care about the created at, but I do care about message. So this is a response message, unfortunately, because, well, I guess it has tool calls. If I add that in here, okay, hold on. So in Olama message, if we add pub tool calls and you become an option of a vec, function name, and then argument. I should probably not. Should I really do this or not? I don't know if this is a good idea. You're still mastering JavaScript, but you were thinking about taking a look at Rust for full stack. Oh, Takatu, you're never going back to JavaScript for backend. It's, I mean, like it still, I think, makes the most amount of money right now because there's just so many jobs for JavaScript on the back end. But I can see going for that. You'll abandon JavaScript in front end as well when WebAssembly performs faster than JavaScript in DOM manipulation. Who was it? It was the creator of Leptos. I think that's what it was. Leptos RS. He had so he did a video a long time ago now about like the speed of things, and he had a list of and a like description of why it's a falsity that everybody just assumes that WebAssembly is slower because it doesn't do the DOM manipulation itself. Where was that? That was like on his blog, wasn't it? I don't remember how to find that again. Maybe on his web. Oh, they have a nice website now. That's pretty cool. The video, well, I guess like that video probably goes to his channel. But yeah, so right now Leptos is using WebAssembly for everything, and it's faster than pretty much all of the other stuff too. From a jobs career perspective, again, unfortunately, performance is almost the last thing companies care about. It's more about how easily they can hire people to build and maintain their products, which is like the hidden. It's part of hidden performance, right? Because there's performance of it running on your computer, but there's also performance of how quickly can you update things? How quickly can you scale up teams to work on it? How quickly can you make changes? And if you can't hire enough people to work on it, then you're never going to be able to have that, like to be able to have a product that continues to change and meet the demands of your users. It's just unfortunate. Yeah, it's WebAssembly can be a little bit tough to work with. Although if you're working with a framework like Leptos, a lot of it is abstracted away, and so you don't have to worry about it yourself. But yeah, I would say that WebAssembly can be as fast, if not faster, than pretty much just like everything else. Although it will never be as fast as Vanilla.js, just because Vanilla.js like also has access to the DOM directly, but unless like WebAssembly somehow gets access to the DOM, but I don't even know if that's on their roadmap. And WebAssembly is moving slow enough that it's going to be years probably. You want to get a stable job. Stable job, unfortunately, is either JavaScript, Python, Ruby, Rails, Go, like languages like that. It's really hard to find a Rust job right now. And I think I guess like, it's not that it's hard to find a Rust job. If you're a senior Rust developer and you have a lot of experience with Rust, especially professionally, it's probably pretty easy to find a job. What's hard to find a job is if you're not a senior in Rust. Like even if you're a senior and you're not in Rust, that's still pretty hard to find a Rust job. Um, let's not worry about this and just get something back. So our Olama response. I care about message, and then we have role and content. Is that the message here? Role and content. Okay, so let's llama message. Let's also add deserialized to this. So it's just a message. So it's pub message, and that's an Olama message. And that's all I'm carrying right now. And I guess we're going to get an empty reply back, but that's okay for right now. So you, JSON, are going to be an Olama response. And in a context, converting response to Olama to REST. And so now I have an Olama response, and I should be able to print line response from AI. Okay, so what are you upset about? Because I need debug. Okay, so now send to AI. So I want to call that from ask AI what tool to use. So we have print line, asking AI what to do, let response equals send to AI. We want to pass in the config and user input. And right now we don't care about that, and it'll crash immediately afterwards. We head back into here and we say do equals ask AI what tool to use, pass it in user input and the config. Expected, reference to the config, okay. And the command, okay, so everything, mismatch types expected, struct config found, result. Yeah, let's unwrap you for right now. Okay, so we have some warnings, but it should work. So what is your command? The command would be create a new, it's like I want to work on slides for a meetup talk next month. Asking AI what to do. Crash, cool. Response from AI. Okay, so we got so okay, perfect. So we got the response from AI. Role assistant content. Okay, so perfect. So then if we go to our Olama message and we have a pub, this is what tool calls, which is a vector of function. So it's a vector of function. So now function needs deserialize too. So you don't have description, which means that you're an option. That'll cause breakage, but that's okay. So name and arguments. So pub arguments. That's going to be an option. Um, sta. I don't actually know what that is because it could be. It could. Oh, it's gonna have to be unique for each tool call. Ugh. Okay, let's not put arguments in for right now, and we'll just have that. Okay, so you need a llama message, tool calls. Tool calls is a none. Oh, it's a vec. So this is just an empty vec. Oh, but tool calls needs to be a none. Hold on. This needs to be an option. Like that. So then you are a none. Okay. Description. Description is an option too. So you become a sum. Like that. Okay. No more errors. So now let's see if I run this again. What is my command? I want to create a slideshow for a meetup on an AI to do an AI to do app, let's say. Ooh, converting response to Rust. So here, the Olama response, it didn't like this. What? Olama message is more private than the item. Oh, you need bpub. Is that it? Unused variable. Okay. Function. Oh, okay. So all these need to be public, don't they? Okay, let's try this. What is my command? Create a task to build slides for a meetup talk about AI agents. It didn't like what we got. Well, that's not cool. Am I interested in game development using Bevy? We have done a little bit of Bevy game development before. I'm interested in Bevy once it sort of like releases, or at least gets a lot closer to 1.0. Right now, I don't. Right now, it's so like it's still so beta, and there's a lot of things changing about it. I'm also interested in their UI once it comes out and sort of like checking that out and see how that's going to work because there's a lot of game engines out there that have sort of like UI based building, and this is supposed to be like somewhere in between where it's not necessary to use the UI, but the UI is going to help you do everything that you want to do, and it's also going to be written in Bevy. So I'm interested in all that stuff, but right now, like not super interested in building a game with it. Okay, so what is there a way that I can see what we're getting back? Like, is that something we can do? Like, clearly this isn't working. Like, it's not liking what the Olama response is. Because I should be getting, or rather, I would love to see like what exactly it's getting back so I can know why it's not deserializing correctly. Like, do I have to model everything in here? I didn't think I need to. So, okay, what if I just have model? What if I just have like model here? So, comment you out. I'll just do pub model string. So what if I do that? And we just say, hello. Response from AI model. Okay, so that does work. Great. So if I model everything that I want to get back. All right. So I think what we've learned here is that I need to have a separate section of my application specifically for chatting with Olama and to create, I don't know if it needs to be like more generic or if I want like specific but choosing different models coming back. But I right now I don't have a working message. So that's a string. Role content, tool calls is function. Oh, with this, that's probably what it is. It's like the function name on that. Scott, hello. How are you doing today? You're doing great. You're working on quiz 2, rereading chapter 10, currently reading about trait bounds being used to conditionally implement methods. Rust is seriously blowing your mind now. Nice. It's good to sort of like be in that state where like things are new and fun and always blowing our minds. Instead of just coming out with context, you need to match the result and print out the text deserialized body and error. I'm guessing something about tool calls is changing. I'm thinking it's this thing right here because the key to this function is function. And I'm saying tool. So a llama message tool calls is a vec of function, and function, yeah, has like name string. So that's the problem. I have name like that. Description's optional. That's great. But this function here. Ooh, how do I no tool type. Oh, tool type. Okay, this needs to be option. Okay, what if I do that? Oh, so tool calls is vec tool, not vec function. Well, hold on. Let me try each one at a time. So, oh, now you don't compile at all. It's cool. Yeah, fun. So you're now at option, right? Okay. What is my command? Create a task to do something really cool. Okay. Wait, I just got the model because I need to bring this back. Create a task to do something really cool. Yeah. So tool calls is vec tool, not vec function. Okay, so tool calls is vec tool, not vec function. Whoa. Tool needs to also implement deserialize. Okay, you're happy. Create a task to do something fun. There we go. Okay, you were right. Excellent. So a response from AI, role assistant, content, nothing, tool call, some tool, tool type, none, function, function name, create task, description, none. Okay, and so then next up we'd have to have arguments, and then that's where things are gonna get not fun. So I think the problem here is that sometimes it makes up arguments. And I wonder if I'm gonna need to make that. I don't think I can make it like generic enough. Ugh. So this is gonna be interesting to sort of like parse through and figure out what this is. But we got this part working. We're now we can see that it's attempting to call all that. You can use pseudo JSON value if you're unsure about the exact structure. Ooh, okay. That could be good too. Although if we're controlling exactly what potential tools and the potential arguments are, I think the real answer is to, if it fails due to not being able to match, like if it sends arguments that don't exist, I think we should catch that error and then retry automatically. So I wonder if we're going to want some kind of like queuing system for sending a message or something weird like that, so I can like potentially recall again and then go back out, or a messaging system. Ooh, we might want like a messaging system. I don't know. There's a bunch of ways that we could potentially do this, But that's why we have a month to write this entire demo out, because most of it's going to be learning this type of thing. But we're going to have to work on that tomorrow because it's noon, or 5 minutes till noon. And that's generally when I end the streams. So I'm going to go ahead and take off, go grab some lunch, feed Zilby. Yeah, this would be more of a stopgap thing to see whether or not the happy path works or not. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And a good way for us to like inspect to see what exactly are you sending us? Are you sending us the right thing or not? Yeah. And I think that modeling everything out into their own files is going to be a good option for us to do. But that will be tomorrow. So we'll probably be creating a module for actually sending stuff out tomorrow and then sort of throwing all that stuff out there and doing it. Scott, you just started Lifetimes. Good luck. Have fun with that. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.